not afraid. Be not afraid. Be not afraid. Be not afraid.
All right. Be not afraid. Welcome back. Wait a second while I adjust this mouth.
Episode 7. Soon it'll be 11.
Soon it will be 11.
Yeah, it shall. We're in a tight little corner. Now,
Yeah.
Paul put his drum kit back to where we previously were.
Yeah, this is a different part of the studio. Hopefully that's all right.
I think it's good.
So, we're back. Well, what were we thinking? We were just talking upstairs.
Yeah, we tend to do that. There's a couple different things I wanted to touch upon, but while we were upstairs, we were talking about God and
Dreams.
dreams and psychedelics. I brought that up faintly simply because I was listening to other people talk about psychedelics earlier today.
Right.
And that reminded me and made me do a little review of my past in which I utilized many different psychedelics in the search for self-enlightenment. Ultimately, I guess that's what I was looking for, the truth. And I didn't want to put in the work to discipline myself day in and day out to really peel back the layers of my own volition. I wanted it to happen more automatically, more seamlessly, more interestingly, I suppose you could say.
Yeah. So, you could kind of break them up in good trips and bad trips, but you want to like expand on maybe some of the like positives and then share some of the negatives maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, I started using psychedelics probably when I was 15. Yeah, 15. And I was simply curious, and I've always been curious of what exists outside of the material physical realm. And before that, I just was using marijuana and trying to open up my horizon to what really lay beyond that, and I could only go so far with that. So I procured some psilocybin and indulged in that with some friends, completely unaware of like the implications of what that experience really entailed. And not only did it expand, like open me up to realms that I really wasn't prepared for whatsoever, but obviously it opened up everyone else who partook in those realms as well. And the positive of my first experience was that I saw that there was another side entirely. The negatives in that regard too are that I had no control over that other side whatsoever, and I was ill prepared to actually deal with accessing that realm, I suppose you could say. And I didn't even understand, it's really difficult to put into terms, but like what really occurs when you are taking these psychedelics, because they differ so drastically with each one that you take, is you're entering a different realm. Unless you're really well versed in your own mind, in your own soul, you are going to be subject to other forces that can harm you, right? But if you do have control over your mind and your soul, and who really does ultimately, but if you have some boundaries laid, you can journey in those realms and access different parts of yourself and the greater reality that you otherwise would have a very difficult time coming to grips with, I suppose. So in that regard, like, that's all a bunch of mumbo jumbo simply to say that no, the reality is like the positives are you get to see that there's far more outside of yourself. The negatives are that there's far more outside of yourself. And if you're not careful with that, it can have long-lasting effects on you.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword.
That's just also a positive, though, because it could have long-lasting effects on you in a positive manner as well. What about you? Have you ever had psychedelic experiences?
Yeah, I've had a handful of mushroom experiences. One of the, I guess, one of the lasting impressions and great kind of breakthroughs, I think, from the last one I did was I'd been sober for maybe a couple years, maybe a few years, and it kind of just made me feel all the experiences of like inebriation compacted into one like thought, and it was like so heavy and yeah, the weight of like all that not being myself, not feeling like myself felt really uncomfortable. And it just kind of left a resounding feeling of you really appreciate being clear and clean, don't you? And I was like, yeah, I did a lot of work, and it was a life and death struggle almost to get to that point. So it's like, it kind of just kicked my ass to make me feel that it's like I was in the right place, and that you're not really in need of this kind of slap in the face just to show you that that's the right thing that you're doing. Just being yourself, feeling your feelings, dealing with your own emotional stuff, not needing substances and such other things to get you there, or to like cope or to deal. So that felt kind of like the I don't know, like the mushroom spirit kind of just like gently letting me know within like, you know, laughing for like 6 hours or something. But the first thing, it was almost kind of like a voice. It was just like, oh, you really appreciate where you're at and being clean and sober, eh? And I was like, yeah.
When you were going into that experience, did you already sort of realize that? Like, have any doubts if you even needed to have that? Or were you using that rather than like an actual like spiritual tool,
Well,
a mental tool for you to better yourself? Were you just hoping to get a bit of a buzz?
No,
maybe
the intention was like some sort of kind of breakthrough, or some kind of realization or understanding. And it's like, it just kind of showed me that in spades that, yeah, this is it. And I think a part of not fully 100% letting go of the idea of, oh, I can't ever be inebriated or like experience these things again, was like one of those things early on that I had a hard time accepting that. And just venturing off into sobriety, you're like, I am the party, I am the supplier, I am the hostess, or like, you know. So just leaving it and kind of leaving a little tiny window of like a little psychedelic trip is like, oh, well, maybe I could still do that every once in a while. And I guess I had hoped that there might be something there for me, but it just kind of, helped me seal the deal that that it wasn't really needed, or actually like, well, maybe it was useful in that way, where it gave me some clarity on that.
Closure too.
Some closure, and just being like, hey man, embrace yourself, embrace your life, embrace your health.
Yeah.
That cleanness and clearness that you feel once you've got a couple years going, it's precious. Like, it really is precious. And when you remember how quickly we forget, right? Like this like detrimental state where we're like just surviving in chaos and craziness, to go to the other side and be like, oh yeah, that seems like far away, but it's like pretty, it might seem far away, but it's like as close as just like, you know, sliding back into any kind of drug use or chaos, or dealing with things in the wrong way, or the way that addictions work, that it's just a slope that you don't want to catch yourself on, you know?
Yeah, it's like sitting on a shitty couch
Yeah, you're sliding off.
I know, like, you know what? You're not. You haven't sat in that couch in such a long time. You know, why would you ever sit in that couch? But that couch is still in your house. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I can sit on the couch. And then you're back in that shitty couch, and you're like, oh, that shitty couch ain't so bad.
Yeah.
That shitty couch is waiting for you to return to it.
Yeah, it's always there, and it's always, yeah, in that spiritual sense. I feel like it's always kind of, it's like the demon at the window just waving.
Yeah,
being
man.
like, hey, man, stop on by, man,
Let's go
anytime you
smoke
want.
some crack and
Get back in this, buying
Get
bags
back at
again.
it.
You know, how quickly, and I've already kind of experienced that too, where you're on the other side a little bit, and you're like, oh, no, I have strength now, and blah, blah, blah.
I could have a pipe full of meth.
No, well, just,
I'm good to go.
no,
I'd go party under a bridge with some homeless people
just another,
just for one night.
yeah, just
you
another
know?
bag.
Yeah, another bag.
And I don't want to trigger anybody with us talking about that, but
Yeah, I'm making jokes right now. I don't smoke meth or crack, and, you know, I'm not trying to make light of that situation either, because drugs are horrible.
the poison is poison. It's just,
Yeah.
any way you cut it, it's like, you got to keep that, if you got that clean wit about you, and you're doing well, keep it going, and hold it like it's dear, and like it's precious, because that is you. That is you're kind of like protecting yourself
From yourself.
and from this like spirit realm of
War.
ambivalence.
Yeah.
And like not
Spiritual warfare,
caring,
man.
or like anything that you do care about. It's like you could so quickly just switch to be like, oh, I don't care. So then none of the decisions really matter.
Mm-hmm.
But it does matter, and you do care. That was like one of my big things was I had this like attitude of like defiantly not caring about everything. And it was like, so
I think a lot of people, like with the addict archetype, have that persona.
yeah.
You know, I was very prideful myself in that vein. It's because you don't care about yourself ultimately, and you think there are no repercussions for any of your actions. And it all snowballs after a while, and you're so unconscious in that regard too, that nothing does matter. You know, it only matters when you actually see with your eyes open for the first time what you have become, and that only comes from abstaining for a long enough duration to look yourself in the mirror and be like, wow, I can't even recognize what I was before. Mm-hmm. And then when you can't recognize what you were before, then you can actually investigate who you were before and why you were acting out in those behaviors. And it's hard to put a pinpoint on, man. It feels like possession. You know, to a large extent, that just gets out of hand and you can't get away from it. It's very difficult. I don't think it's that different for everyone either. I think once that beast gets a hold of you, it's just got its claws in your back.
Yeah.
And that's what you believe to be yourself. So then when you actually do have that clarity again, you gotta like redevelop your identity entirely while you break away from that, which has such deep meaning for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's real important, like how you just said, you got to ask the question why, and why we do these things, why we make excuses for ourselves, or why we kind of refrain from doing those inner looks at like the bigger reasons that kind of dovetail into like our healing journey also. Why are we not doing that healing? Well, we need to know why we're doing the things we're doing. What is setting us off? What is creating this like really bad loop? And then there could be like some room to start to understand yourself, you know? Try to get to the root causes, trying to see things as they are. Take the honest inventory. And then, embark on hopefully shadow work of looking at your darkness and making peace. bringing the things that you need to bring to light and get them off your chest, share them. Yeah. Moving the energy, you know?
Yeah, we kind of sidestepped off of the whole discussion of psychedelics, and it just dovetailed into sobriety.
Go right
ultimately.
back.
And I just want to add in that regard too, it's different for each and every single human. Some people are having immense success with psychedelics and even attaining sobriety and attaining clarity and recovering from PTSD and trauma. There's a lot of trials, and like they've been doing this for decades now. And by they, I mean like actually psychologists and doctors are working with veterans and deep trauma survivors using like psilocybin, and like MDMA is not
Ibogaine.
Ibogaine, and even ayahuasca. When I was down in Peru, and I went on a couple of ayahuasca journeys over a couple different weeks and different years, and I'll explain that in depth at one point. But people have really recovered immensely through utilizing that. But there's pros and cons to everything in that regard too, because I also believe like for every recovery, there are people that completely lose themselves entirely with these substances because it is the unknown. It's the unknown, and like unless you have people who are really strictly guiding you and there for you and have gone through that process themselves, and you're actually taking it minimally and building up to something, you can really just throw yourself overboard. You can just jump right off the ship in the middle of the ocean, and then there's no one to throw you a life raft, and you're just swimming out there and you drown eventually. I think it can be incredibly beneficial, incredibly dangerous. And as Peter Parker's granddad said, with great power comes great responsibility. And I think that's what you're dealing with ultimately when it comes to psychedelics. And as I said earlier, psychedelics vary from substance to substance to the point where they can be vastly different experiences overall. Like, what are you trying to work towards? So, on that note, like it opened my mind up to actually like utilizing psychedelics once again for the process of healing and integration. When I was just listening to a couple of guys speak about it earlier today, because it's always been so prominent within my life as a tool for that. But I've really just kind of veered away from that entirely since I got sober from alcohol. So
that makes me think of like alternative ways to kind of get those experiences, which is that dream DMT, and maybe for the positive stuff that could come from it, where you're like you're needing some sort of mirror to help you see some part of yourself, or to get some unlocked unconscious part freed up, or like you're just a fresh restart for the circuitry that like psilocybin does.
Detox almost.
Yeah, it opens it up so
Flushes.
that a different pathway could be like formed.
Like neuroplastic, like you're more neuroplastic after you use these substances, kind of.
Yeah, there's like a window where you could start training some different synapses or something. But I was just thinking about like, when you if you're doing your dream work, if you're kind of journaling and looking inside, if you're doing like prayer and discernment, asking some of these hard questions, it's almost like effectively part of the same stuff that hopefully that spirit work brings you to the same kind of conclusions, right? That it's like you have immense value and love for yourself in a way that's like non-judgmental. You're not hard on yourself for the stuff you've been through. You're accepting of all the shit you went through, good and bad. That you're kind of like a worthwhile project of potential uncovering and like growth. And like we were saying upstairs, it's like some drugs, it's like there's some good to it. It helps with pain, it helps with suffering, it helps with depression, blah blah blah. But then at some point you wonder, you know, if there's like a cutoff point where it becomes more harmful than good, or when do you kind of step off and like become whole-ish as your own person, walk on your 2 feet, be like, okay, I'm gonna like encounter some of the world and let it hit
Authentically.
and you will feel some depression, you will feel some anxiety, but then you learn how to cope with these things. You learn how to do your breath work. You learn how to, you know, answer and pray and ask for help when you need help, and you do all these things, and you're able to do it. You know, that's my hope, anyways. Then that, you know, everybody's journey is obviously different, but getting to a point where you feel comfortable with yourself in your own skin. And yeah, it's not to be completely anti-drug or anti-psychedelic. It's more just like pro healing journey and you know, exploring stuff that will work for you and that innately feels like good, but, you know.
Doing that consciously. So like being present, being present in your healing journey.
And
the highs and lows that come with
yourself.
that. Yeah.
Not being afraid to be who you are and to feel all the feelings that
Be not afraid, buddy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
You're not afraid to
drift?
feel your highs and lows and like kind of go with it, go with the flow. Be a part of the river, not swimming against stream.
Don't be a rock at the bottom of the river. Immovable.
Yeah,
Capable
stay
of
malleable.
direction.
Yeah, stay malleable.
Yeah.
Keep yourself afloat. Yeah, I was telling Brandon upstairs, I had some weird dreams last night that all kind of revolved around like blockages of different kinds. And I was like, whew, that's like 4 dovetailed crazy blockage things. Thinking about hard conversations that it's like I was welling up on and choking on almost. And also, yeah, I think just internalizing those stresses and having a part of myself that is like this judgmental tyrant kind of like looming at the back and being like, just let me take the reins on this one and I'll cast judgment like a son of a bitch. Where it's like, oh man, I'm not trying to be that way. Like I'm trying to, you know, have a more sage and wise approach to these things and not fly off the handle or whatever. And it takes more time and more kind of like, you know, like
I do, yeah.
the pause of like, okay, erase that email that you've started that just veering on
homicide.
Like friendship homicide or tirade or like this abusive part of you that will relish in lashing out. Bite your tongue and like back up the keypad and be like, hold on.
And
like, what are we
what's
really...
the root that's really triggering you to be in such an emotional state? Obviously something just occurred that brought that out of you.
Yeah.
But like, why is it that an action or statement such as that elicits such a response of a negative nature from you right there? Because it's underlying, right?
It's frustration.
It's going to keep happening over and over again until you get to the underlying problem that's, you hear what I'm saying?
It's frustration and anger.
Yeah, but why are you frustrated and angry?
Because of the triggered.
Because your mom never held you as a baby.
No. It's triggered.
Who's that guy?
I'll try to tell you why. I was triggered in a way that made me feel that I wasn't being understood. That's the main one. And that the logic and sense making failed to hit me in a way that made sense. So I felt irritated and frustrated. And then that immediately spun like its little web of anger. And then that was it. Then it was like, okay, deal with that anger and try not to like lash it out and to project it back onto people instead of taking a smaller, humbler, slower approach to be like, okay, speak words of understanding and problem solving, and then let that energy be what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's easier said than done, though. That's for
Very
fucking
difficult.
sure.
100%, man. I don't know.
I tried my best. That's all I could say is that
Yeah.
I did, make the email and fucking fire it off.
And-
but it's like whether I succeeded to not completely irritate somebody or to just say it in a way that's like, okay, to be determined. But I mean, I tried.
Yeah, and that's what courage is all about. Actually trying day in and day out, putting in that effort to overcome yourself.
Yeah, the beast part of yourself.
It's very difficult. And I was just going to say, I think that's really what sets average from extraordinary people apart. Like being willing to constantly overcome yourself no matter what. Like we're all...
Dude, that's a job, eh?
So hard, dude. Like trying to
constant thing.
And that's why it's next to impossible, because like in the never-ending grind of modern humanity and ancient humanity, just humanity as well, being a common person within the grind, you are so busy. Yeah. And there is such a plethora of tasks and emotions that are being thrown at you day in and day out. Yeah. But you just get completely numb to it all because you can't stop, right? So trying to do the spiritual work while maintaining your materialistic existence is exhausting. That's why it was reserved for priest castes and ascetics throughout time, and obviously incredibly wealthy people and philosophers who were typically, under the funding of incredibly wealthy people. Like all these different things. It was really wealthy people that were interested because they were like, oh, we have all this material and mental power, but it's not leading us anywhere. We're actually still unhappy. And we have no connection to something greater than ourselves. So we might as well throw as much energy into pursuing these intellectual and spiritual endeavors to determine what the truth is beyond this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then the common person is just like, oh gosh, I gotta go cut the barley. There's a horseshoe. Oh God, I gotta go fix the house. There's invading forces at our borders. Gotta go fight them. You know?
Yeah, I wonder how much of that sage approach was like around, even for wealthy people.
A really good book.
Petulance.
Called Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. Yeah. You know? That's... I think it's the Buddha too, right? A prince... chose the ascetic life. Like, I guess, like, it doesn't matter what you have. It's who you are. Deep down, ultimately, being able to let go of all the earthly attachments and realize that they're only temporary. Like, I'm not saying, like, giving them all up entirely, but not getting too focused on it all. We're definitely going off track again from the discussion of dreams.
Look at your head too. You're putting it right into the stand. Just keep it straight. Or no, like go forward a little bit, like how you were, but just you were talking like that.
Yeah, I know. I was just resting my head.
Neck slump.
Yeah, resting my neck.
Yeah, we're going on tangents. It's all good.
We typically go on tangents, so that's what this is all about, you and I going on tangents.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, like in this, subject of dreams, I'm no expert whatsoever. In fact, I'm horrible with recording dreams, investigating dreams, and trying to expand upon what any of my dreams even mean a lot of the time. I've always been interested in the idea of lucid dreaming and out-of-body experiences and whatnot, and I've had astral projection experiences in the past that scared the shit out of me to the point where I typically I'm so frightened by them because I can literally feel myself leaving my body that I hop back in my body. Like, I'm out of my body. So it is, like, your soul is like, hey, let's go fucking check out the astral realm, and then it's like, whoa, what the fuck? And other people do that, and I'm just like, man, like, that is so... I'd like to get more... And obviously that's what people talk about, like when they talk about like magicians and witches like flying, like that's what they're doing. All of this magic is occurring within a different realm. It's not happening within this realm directly. At least that's based off of what I understand.
Yeah.
You know, it's not happening in this material reality. They're doing it in other realities that they are accessing through the use of psychedelics and trances, and you know, that's like it's altered states.
I wondered about the lucid stuff, whether we were like, if the Carl Jung thing about dreams is like we're being kind of shown interesting parts of our unconscious to help in a way figure stuff out, and kind of decipher some codes, some inner combinations.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we're, I don't know if this is true or not, but like a part of the self that's like, oh, I want to fly around and I want to, you know, fornicate or do whatever in your dream instead of letting the other experiences come by. I was like, is that like an ego mind trying to do what it wants to do in like a unlimited way, where it's like, okay, I'd prefer to avoid what the unconscious part is trying to show me to help me learn to be like doing whatever. I was like, maybe, you know, I was trying to like train myself to, you know, lucid dream or whatever. But then I kind of abandoned that thing to be like, nah, maybe I'm just supposed to like write down the dreams and try to help myself out from learning what these dreams are kind of saying,
so like
what the themes are, you know.
Is that not interesting? Because like if you could actually access your dreams lucidly when you're having these almost, you know, they're theme based, you know, interactions that are trying to relay, at least so it seems, some information to you from your unconscious to your conscious so that you can really understand what's really going on within you. Like what you're really feeling without actually consciously processing that through journaling and meditation and reflection within your waking life. You hear what I'm saying? Like your unconscious is like, holy fuck, buddy, I'm overloaded. Here you go. There's a snake shooting out of your throat that's spewing fire everywhere while you sit in a bathtub. You know, and the sun is talking to you. Like, what the fuck does any of that mean? I don't know. Maybe that's not a dream that I had recently or anything, but just a observation. You know? And, like, what I'm getting at is if you were to lucidly awaken within a dream like that, could you interact with all the symbology and whatnot and be like, what does all this mean? And the symbology is like, well, this is what I'm trying to get across to you. You know? Because typically, when you lucid dream, I'm like just leaving my body. Like I'll just leave my body and go around this neighborhood and shit. It's not like I'm in this intensive dream. They're different.
Yeah.
Based off of my experience.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like one's a messaging system and one's a free roam.
Yeah, you're just going in your imagination, going all over the place. Kind of like remote viewing. You're like searching for...
I'm not a remote viewer. I've never experienced anything like remote viewing.
Kind of sounds like astral projection.
Being able to do
like,
it anywhere.
To go places. They're like, oh, the downed MiG fighter is in this part of the jungle, and they went and found it. But the guys were just sitting in a room, like, thinking.
That's insane.
You know, so...
Yeah.
That's cool if that's real. That's obviously... I don't know. The power of the mind, though, is pretty crazy, and, like, the connectiveness of like the collective unconsciousness is like
pretty crazy,
pretty fascinating.
Yeah,
that we're having some weird dreams that involve each other. That you know.
Yeah, no, it's the truth. And what does it mean when we're having dreams with one another as well? I think it's just like when you see people. Like I told you, I had a dream the other day. Me and my buddy from a class that I'm taking, who I'm not like good friends with or anything. I just see him because we're in the same class now. We were talking about the Bible and he was having like an in-depth discussion with me about it and like teaching me about certain themes within these passages, and I was like, wow, like I didn't know you were actually versed in any of this. And you know, the kid's dad's a pastor, So it was just weird. Like I didn't.
That was the dream?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I never, in my wake, I didn't bring it up to the guy. In my waking reality, I would never have that conversation with that guy because it seems like he's actually opposed to Christianity. Not entirely. Like he's probably a Christian, but he's trying to get away from it because it seems like it was pushed upon him from a very young age. You know what I mean? Like, and that's very common with people who have religious leaders as parents.
Think about this in terms of that those are parts of your own personality, those male figures.
And me.
You're wrestling with those precise questions.
And your brain just
showing you
someone that is familiar to relay the message.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I never thought about that, actually.
A lot of it is that, and that, like, the girls, too, are parts of your anima.
Yes. Now you're talking Jungian.
Well, yeah,
because that's all anima and animus.
That's all I ever really think about for dream stuff.
Yeah.
It's like relaying parts of your personality, different male and female aspects
so
that you might be.
In my dreams, I'm always trying to fuck myself. Stop it. As soon as I say that, you come over.
She's crazy.
Yeah.
She needs to go upstairs, I think.
Yeah, she's cool. But yeah, man, got to get more in depth with dreams. If anyone is very well versed in dreams, and you're watching this and you've made it this far, please contact us. We'd like to have a discussion with you.
Sure, yeah. You could share one of your dreams too in the comments if you want. Freaking let her rip.
Yeah.
Yeah, part of mine last night was like having this crazy huge toilet that was completely overflowed and clogged, and I had my whole arm down in it, and it was a massive thing, and there was all this clothes stuck in the like pipe and like just tons of clothes, and I was like, oh, obviously it's clogged. I need to move some of these clothes out. So then I was taking heaps of clothes and like putting it on the floor. I'm like, weird, because the 3 other completely unrelated parts of the dream were all about blockages and clogs also. So
that's nasty.
Something blocked up and clogged, you know, like
your heart
bottled up, trying to get out but not getting out. Yeah, one of the other parts I'll share just because I like Googled it, and apparently a lot of people have this where you have like a hair in your mouth and you're pulling it out, then it just keeps on going and going and going. And you're like, where is this hair? It's like caught in your teeth or something. And I've had that before, like a few times. And then this one was clearly caught at the roof of my mouth, attached to this weird abscessed tooth that I eventually pulled out of my mouth. And then I could feel with my tongue this huge hole. I was like, that's weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
But yeah, blockage, then release, and like, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Release blockages. Well, finding the potential, man. Releasing your potential and unwinding the coil, you know?
Yeah.
Onwards and upwards.
Yeah.
I should get Theo Vaughn on the show.
Yeah. Or Trump. Or J.D. Vance.
It'd be the best show.
Or Biden. Anyone really?
Hope Biden's doing all right.
I don't.
Poor old guy.
I actually do. I don't care.
Eating
how able you are.
In the old age home.
Yeah.
Not remembering what the hell's going on. He's like, I was president.
Yeah.
Well, anything to look forward to this month?
This month is coming to a close in like 3 or 4 days, so.
Next couple days, next week, working on more music.
Yeah, I'd love to start working on music again. I've been really busy just getting through this school module that I'm doing, so once that comes to a close, it'll be nice to actually focus on art and whatnot again. But the gears don't stop grinding, right? Mm-hmm. There's always more and more to do. It's good to like reflect on, you know, what you have done in the past, the pros and cons of what just happened in the past couple of months, and journal all that down. Take away the positives and try to abstain from those negatives going forward, and that's what I've been doing recently. And I think it's good to do that like monthly. You know, obviously every year you should do a recap of that.
Little inventory, kind of
Dude,
daily.
it's so important,
Little
man.
daily
It's so important.
inventory is helpful.
I am so just easily distracted, and my mind like just sways so rapidly that if I'm not like vigilant and organized and disciplined, I have nothing. I'm not that smart, but I am very disciplined, and I try to work hard. So that's like I got to keep that up, otherwise I'll fall off the wagon.
Persistent and vigilant.
Yeah.
On a good note, I'll share that my quest to like understand my own wellness and like this woozy feeling I was feeling, I may have solved it. I'm gonna knock on wood, but yeah, I started taking iron supplements, and it seems to have helped. And I haven't had this feeling since I started taking it.
Yeah. You have to take iron supplements.
Yeah,
'Cause
sometimes
he's
you're
vegan.
completely.
He never eats meat.
Well, no, I eat meat. I eat a lot of meat, but not a lot of red meat.
Yeah.
But my detective work kind of led me down the path to maybe I was low on iron, and that was causing some oxygen deprivation for my whole body.
A lot of people are probably low in iron. A lot of people are very vitamin deficient. It's because our food lacks vitamin density that it once possessed, nutrient density, all of that as a result of, you know, just countless modifications genetically, which is necessary to have the food that we have in this day and age and the abundance and quantity that we do have it in. But, you know, we don't have really high quality foods anymore. So if you're not actually if you're not conscious of your daily needs and consciously intaking that, then you need to be supplementing.
Yeah, I've been feeling better, so thank God for that.
Yeah, brother. What are you looking forward to over the next couple days, I guess you could say, buddy?
Just I've been accomplishing a lot in the studio, doing more good work for mixing, playing, performance, hopefully coming soon.
You just finished Kevin Schofield's album.
Well, I just put up another master of some of his older stuff, but one of our own productions that I did with him is pretty much complete. We got fiddle on it. Sounds pretty cool. So we're going to be releasing that one soon. And just looking forward to some more cool projects in the works, but some of my solo stuff, your stuff, and then more Tennessee Cree, maybe a little bit of Kyle Muniz, and then some other people, Al Sherlock and Leah Thompson, and my brother's new releases. A lot of good stuff coming, so stoked, thankful, keep on smudging. Smudging, attitude of gratitude, man. That's been my saving grace, really.
Yeah.
Whatever's happening, making it a mission to be making that list of all the stuff that you're grateful for, and kind of coming back down to earth.
Yeah, it's so important to actually have gratitude on a day-to-day basis. It's really easy to forget how good we have it. You know, we live in safety. We have access to food, water.
Sauna. Come on.
You know, you got a sauna in the backyard.
Dude, the
So,
sauna.
we have the opportunity to have good relationships with friends, family. Like, in this country.
More than ever now that sobriety is a part of the life.
It is, yeah.
That's
and,
you can't overlook that now it feels actually unbelievable.
Another note on that too is you don't know how good it is until you start taking these steps to take your life back, because if not, it's just going to keep falling apart, man. It's going to keep falling apart, and it's it gets worse over time, man. And it's really hitting me now that I've begun the journey. I'm really hard on myself sometimes. I'm like, oh, I'm not doing enough work and whatnot. But I actually am. It's just that we're our own biggest critics. But I've personally had many relationships with people who are really still struggling so much, and faltering enormously so now. And it's really hard to see, but it just makes me so acutely aware of the fact that I would be in those shoes as well. I'd be fucking probably on the verge of like self-destruction, as I always was, if I hadn't taken that step. So like that's something to always be grateful for.
Yeah, man, it's amazing. It's good energy. Yeah, super grateful for that. That's dude, it's like getting your life back, you know, so on that note, this is our the music to take us out, but thanks everybody for watching. Be not afraid. Peace and love.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you on the flip side.
Go take this dog for a walk.
Blood into my body. For this I can't be sorry. Well, at the moment we are happy.